Hello and welcome to this online course on themes in Indian history part 1, a class 12 NCERT textbook for history students. Now we were discussing the Harappan Civilization, which is the first chapter of this textbook, bricks, beads and bones. And in the first three videos we talked about the subsistence strategies used by these people, their agricultural technologies, their town planning methods and the social classes which existed during that period. Today we will move ahead and we will talk about the craft production and the contacts of the Harappan civilization with the distant places. This is about me. My name is Vivek Pandya. I am 27 years of age. I am a civil service aspirant. Total teaching experience of 5 years, and these are my interests. So let's begin. Now we know that Harappa, the people of Harappa, they used to make beads which were remarkable, and they used stones of carnelian. Now carnelian is a beautiful red colored stone which can be seen here. And one of the videos earlier, I also used a photograph of carnelian. Then they also made beads from jasper, some crystal cords, so various materials. In this you can see this here, can easily see that this is what carnelian looks like. Jasper and carnelian, they both somewhat are similar. So they were using variety of materials like jasper, crystals, quartz, statite. Now that is a soft material, it's a soapstone. Then they also knew the usage of different type of metals. They use copper for making different type of materials, their ornaments. Then they use bronze, which is an alloy of copper and tin. They also use gold. And there were places in even today. If you go to a place like Goa, or let's say Diu in Gujarat, then you will find many of the jewelry which are going to be made up of shells. So they also, the Harappan people, see here in this one you can see some type of shells are being used, different type of shapes, crystals, shells. Then this is a gold, something a gold. I don't know what it's called, but the end points are made up of gold, so it has been attached here. So all these type of materials they used, they were using all these things, making using faience, terracotta or burnt clay, and producing various type of crafts. They produce various types of crafty things. And the method of making all these things differed from place to place. Sometimes the things were cemented together. Sometimes, yes, these are the gold caps. See, these are the gold caps. So sometimes the materials, the necklaces and the jewelry which they made, on the end points they had some gold caps. So all these were things which they made. Then you can also see that there were numerous type of shapes. Here also you can see two different type of shapes. Here there are multiple shapes. Even in this photograph you can see that beads are made up of different shapes. There are different type of shapes. Some are cylindrical in shape like this one. Then some are spherical in shape. Then some are barrel shaped. Then there are segmented also, or segmented beads. Some are decorated. Some are made up of some precious stone. And sometimes you can also find out that, see, in this one here there's a design on the bead. So there were different types of materials, and they crafted, they prepared it in a different style. And now I'll again get you back to the map which we looked at in the first video and in the second video. This map is going to be very important. Why? Because in the board exams these places are to be marked, so we need to remember and we need to associate each place with some special characteristics. So like, if someone asks you that a special center which mark on the map of India, or mark on the given map a special center which was exclusively devoted to craft production, so which place would be that? So that place was Chanundro, which is today it is located in Pakistan. See, after the partition of India, many of the Indian heritage places went to Pakistan, like Mohenjo-daro, Harappa. Chanundro is again one of the places which was exclusively devoted to craft production, which included bead making, shell cutting, metal working, seal making, weight making. They made lots of things, and it was dedicated solely to the purpose of production, craft production. So this is also one part. Then they use different type of techniques to make all these beads. So according to the material, the technique was different for different material. So let's say if we are talking about statite, it was a very soft stone, so it can be worked very easily on. Now some beads they were molded out of a paste which were made from the statite powder. Now what does this do is it permits them in making variety of shapes. And you can see here there are variety of geometrical shapes here, and these were all made because they could mold the material. They could create different type of materials. They were molding the stone into a paste, and then they were making the beads out of it. But still there are some statite micro beads which still remain. These are the statite micro beads. मोती जैसे छोटे से मोती जैसे होते हैं वो. They still remain a puzzle for the archaeologist studying the ancient technology, that how did they make it. So there are other precious stones which are considerably harder than the statite. So they would have grinded it, or polished it in some way, that it has got this particular type of shape. So even the archaeologists, the technological, who are studying the technological aspect of the history of the Harappan civilization, they are also puzzled because of this. Then you can see that carnelian and jasper, yes, they both are red in color, but sometimes, not sometimes, many times, uh, the jasper stone is not actually red. It is of a yellowish raw material, and the beads are heated at different levels to attain that red color. So archaeologists have experimented on this, and that has revealed that the red color of carnelian was obtained by firing the yellowish raw material and beads at various stages of production. So they were making all these red color things by heating the entire material. Then of course we know about the terracotta clay that which they used. There are also special type of drills that have been found from different places like Chanundro, Lothal. See, Chanundro, then Lothal, special type of drills that were found. So these were the places, and archaeologists have come to all these conclusions using different type of methods. Again, the same thing. Then you can also understand this, that the places like Nageshwar here and Balakot, which I have encircled because those places are important and solely for the purpose of an objective or for the maps. Now these two places were the settlements which were near the coast. So what happens is, even today, as I said, there are many things which will be made up of shell objects, which can include bangles, ladles, inlay, many things. So all these settlements, they were being created. These places were created for manufacturing all these shell objects, and all these shell objects, I don't think that, even the archaeologists, they don't think that these products were used by the people living on the coast. It is likely that these finished products were transferred from Chanundro and Lothal to larger urban centers like of course Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. So these were the places which created the material, and they were transferred to the larger centers because those were the urban centers, many people, rich people. Now can you tell me that out of all these craft materials, what artifacts can be considered as utilitarian objects and what articles can be considered as luxurious objects? It's very simple. Even from this example, you can understand. Okay, then can you tell me that are there any type of materials, any type of artifacts which may fall into both the categories? कुछ मूर्ति, कुछ seal, कुछ सोचो सोचो सोचो. Write about it in the comment section. Then we are going to move ahead. One more very interesting part. See, understanding about the beads and their type of manufacturing, their different type of methods, their raw material, their centers is one thing, but again we need to identify the centers. So how did the archaeologists identify all those centers? Like the centers which we see here, Balakot, Chanundro, Nageshwar, these were the centers. So how did the archaeologists, they come to this conclusion? So it's a very simple logical thing. Even in today's time, if something is being produced, something is being manufactured, let's say iron and steel manufacturing industry, so where would it be located? It would be located where the raw material is found. So even these craft productions will be located at those places where the raw materials such as shells or copper ores or different type of tools or the stones, they could be found, right? But again, in today's time, it is very easy to understand that okay, if the raw material is here, the industry would be located here. But we have to decipher the things which happened 4,000 years ago, 4 to 5,000 years ago. So how do the archaeologists come to that conclusion? So they use a different type of analogy to get to this conclusion, because wherever things are manufactured, there remain some type of tools. Some tools are found, some unfinished objects are found, some tools are found, some unfinished objects are found. Then they would be also believing in the quality control. So sometimes they would be rejecting the material, or something that could have broken. Then of course you understand that there is an associated part of waste materials. Now waste materials are something that whenever you are manufacturing anything, waste products would be left out. So this becomes the best indicator for craft work and their production centers. Let's say for example, if a shell or stone is cut to make objects, then the pieces of these materials will be discarded as waste at the place of production. तो इससे तो पता चलेगा ना कि भाई इधर पे प्रोडक्शन होता था. समटाइम्स हमको लार्जर वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट्स भी मिल जाते हैं, क्योंकि वो लार्जर वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट्स में से वो लोग छोटे कोई ऑब्जेक्ट्स बनाते होंगे. तो फिर भी वो जो मिनिस्क्यूल छोटे छोटे बिट्स जो बच जाते हैं, छोटा छोटा सा मिनिस्क्यूल बिट्स जो बच जाते हैं, वो वर्क एरिया के अंदर इट वुड बी लेफ्ट आउट. एंड फ्रॉम दीज ट्रेसेस द आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट ट्रेस दैट they were small specialized craft production centers which and from which the production were taken to the larger cities such as the मोहनजोदारो एंड हड़प्पा. क्योंकि मोहनजोदारो और हड़प्पा में से ऐसी चीज़ें नहीं मिलती, तो ऑब्वियस चीज़ है कि अगर कहीं पे अगर मिनिस्क्यूल बिट्स अगर मिले, छोटे छोटे पीसीस अगर कहीं पे मिल रहे वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट्स के, तो वो जगह तो भाई ये लोग मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए ही यूज़ करते होंगे, स्पेशल डेडिकेटेड प्लेसेस. Now the other thing which we know about the Harappan civilization is their strategy for procuring materials. Now this is also important. मतलब गजब की चीज़ है. Not everything was found in the Indus Valley region. There were things which they needed to get procure from distant places. So like there were places on the Indian subcontinent which became very important for them, like the Nageshwar and Balakot areas. We discussed about it, that they were from there shell objects were available. Then there were another site in Afghanistan which is not located here, but there was a site called Shotugai जहाँ से हम लोग को कैनल सिस्टम भी मिला था, कैनल सिस्टम के ट्रेसेस भी मिले थे. So in that Shotugai, which is far off, located in Afghanistan, it is the best source of लैपिस लजूली. यू सी दिस, जो ब्लू कलर का जो स्टोन है ना यहाँ पे, दिस स्टोन इज नोन एज द लैपिस लजूली विच वॉज obtained फ्रॉम अफगानिस्तान. एंड यू कैन सी different type of beads and all produced from this raw material. It's a blue stone and this stone was highly valued. Then we can talk about Lothal. Lothal was again another source for carnelian. Then स्टेटाइट. एंड स्टेटाइट के लिए गुजरात और राजस्थान. स्टेटाइट इज़ अ सोप स्टोन. इट्स समथिंग विच इज़ वेरी सिमिलर टू लाइम स्टोन. तो ये अवेलेबल था फ्रॉम राजस्थान एंड फ्रॉम नॉर्दर्न गुजरात. आज भी यहाँ पे बहुत सारे सीमेंट इंडस्ट्रीज है. देन मेटल लाइक कॉपर. इवन इन टुडेज टाइम कॉपर इज़ फाउंड इन इंडिया फ्रॉम द स्टेट ऑफ राजस्थान. तो वो मेटल भी वहीं से मिलता होगा. देन अनदर स्ट्रेटेजी दे हैड फॉर प्रोक्योरिंग द रॉ मटेरियल could have been that they were sending expeditions to other areas for procuring material. Like if they wanted copper, they could have gone to Rajasthan, as I just mentioned. Then भाई हमारे देश के अंदर गोल्ड कहाँ से मिलता है? गोल्ड इंडस्ट्री कहाँ है अपने कंट्री में? गोल्ड आज भी अगर चाहिए भाई, भारी भारी पूरा एम्बेसडर भर जाए इतना सारा गोल्ड, किधर होता है? साउथ. यू नीड टू गो टू साउथ इंडिया फॉर गोल्ड. सो दे कुड हैव सेंट एक्सपीडिशंस टू साउथ इंडिया. दीज एक्सपीडिशंस एस्टेब्लिश कम्युनिकेशन विद द लोकल कम्युनिटीज़. तो बहुत सारे, ये पता कैसे चलेगा अभी आर्कियोलॉजिस्ट लोगों को कैसे पता चलेगा कि वर दे ट्रेडिंग विद डिस्टेंट प्लेसेस? हाउ डू दे कम टू, हाउ? अरे सिंपल है. हड़प्पन आर्टिफैक्ट उन जगहों पे भी मिल जाएगा. फॉर एग्जांपल आपको कभी कभी ओकेजनली कोई हड़प्पन आर्टिफैक्ट सच एज अ स्टेटाइट माइक्रोबीड या सम सील, ये सब चीज़ें आपको कहीं से मिल जाएगी. इफ़ यू आर excavating somewhere in South India, then you might have found a हड़प्पन सील. ये नहीं है कि हड़प्पन सिविलाइजेशन वहाँ तक था, but this is possible that for procuring gold they could have gone there, and they could have those could have been their leftovers. हो सकता है ऐसा. Then there is another evidence in the Khetri area for what the archaeologists call the गणेश्वर जोधपुर कल्चर. अब ये गणेश्वर जोधपुर कल्चर इसलिए बोलते हैं क्योंकि इनके यहाँ पे एक डिस्टिंक्टिव टाइप की पॉटरी मिलती है. मैंने यहाँ पे स्पेशल मेंशन किया है इस चीज़ के लिए. तो देयर वाज अ डिस्टिंक्टिव टाइप ऑफ पॉटरी. यू कैन सर्च अबाउट फॉर इट्स इमेज ऑन द वेबसाइट ऑन गूगल. एक्चुअली आई सर्च फॉर इट, यहाँ पे डालना मुझसे रह गया है, बट यू कैन ईजिली सर्च इट ऑन द इंटरनेट. इट्स ईजिली अवेलेबल. तो डिस्टिंक्टिव नॉन हड़प्पन पॉटरी वहाँ पे मिल जाती थी. एंड देयर वाज सम अनयूजुअल वेल्थ ऑफ कॉपर ऑब्जेक्ट्स. तो इससे एक और कंक्लूजन मिल जाता है कि मे बी द पीपल इन दैट रीजन वर हेविली डिपेंडेंट ऑन कॉपर के ऑर्नामेंट्स, कॉपर के ऑब्जेक्ट्स वो लोग वहाँ पे इस जगह पे बनाते थे. एंड मे बी हड़प्पन लोगों को यही लोग कॉपर भी सप्लाई कर लेते थे. ठीक है. सो दिस वॉज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द पार्ट्स, वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स. दैन कम्स द इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट. भाई खाटू वाला इंटरेस्ट इस चीज़ में आता है जब हम लोग को समझ में आता है देयर कॉन्टेक्ट विद डिस्टेंट लैंड्स. डिस्टेंट लैंड्स के पहले आई नो मैनी ऑफ द पीपल वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो, अगर मैं ऐसे ही मेसोपोटामिया की बात करूँगा तो नहीं समझ में आएगा. सो दिस इज़ अ मैप ऑफ द व्हाट डू वी से मिडिल ईस्ट और वेस्ट एशिया. येस, दिस इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ वेस्ट एशिया एंड मिडिल ईस्ट. सो दिस इज़ इंडिया. इंडिया का नेबर पाकिस्तान, देन कम्स अफगानिस्तान, देन कम्स ईरान, इराक, सीरिया, तुर्की, सऊदी, यमन, ओमान. ये है हमारा यूएई. ठीक है. तो दिस इज़ अ वेरी वेरी, एंड यू शुड ऑल यूज़ मैप्स वाइल स्टडिंग हिस्ट्री. यू शुड ऑल मेमोराइज ऑल दीज प्लेसेस. आपको पता होना चाहिए आँख बंद करके कहाँ पे कौन सी जगह है. So if we are talking about Oman, then you should know that we are going to be talking about this place. So that's why I put put in place this map right here. और उसके नेक्स्ट में ये वाला मैप है जिस पे से हमको बात करना है आज के लिए. So because from these were the places from where we found the Harappan evidences that these the cities and the dynasties or the empires which existed in these places, इनके हड़प्पन सिविलाइजेशन के साथ कोई ना कोई कॉन्टेक्स्ट थे, कोई संबंध थे. सो फर्स्ट आई वुड लाइक ऑल ऑफ यू टू लुक एट दिस jar. Now this Harappan jar was found in the region of Oman. Now this is a distinctive type of vessel in which was coated with a thick layer of black clay, and ऐसा मानते हैं कि the coating था to prevent the percolation of the liquids. Now we don't know what could have been carried out in these vessels, but we sure know that हड़प्पन्स और ओमन्स के बीच में उस टाइम पे एक्सचेंज होता था. The other fact, the metals which are found from the sites of Harappa, the sites of Oman, उसका chemical analysis करने के बाद it shows that both these artifacts have traces of nickel. So it suggests a common origin. मतलब दोनों ने कहीं एक common place से लिया होगा. Maybe some third place, but some common place. They would have taken this. दूसरा example, दूसरा part from where we get the connection with the distant lands is the Mesopotamian texts. Now these are dated back to the 3rd millennium BC, and यहाँ पे भी जो text मिले हैं, in those texts it mentions the coming of copper from a region called Magan, and probably this is a name for Oman. And interestingly enough, copper found at Mesopotamian sites also contains those traces of nickel. मतलब वही निकल के ट्रेसेस जो मेसोपोटेमिया से कॉपर में मिले, मगध में से मिले, हड़प्पा में से मिले, एवरीवेयर हैड सम कॉमन ओरिजिन. देयर वाज अ कॉन्टैक्ट एस्टैब्लिश होता है इससे. Then there are other archaeological findings like the long distance contacts जिससे होते हैं ऐसा हम लोग प्रूव कर सकते हैं. वो है द हड़प्पन सील्स, वेट्स, डाइस, बीड्स. We have found all those things at various places: Mesopotamia, Egypt, many places. This is a region of Djibouti, Bahrain. This is Oman. This is Bahrain. This is Mesopotamia. This is the Meluha region. Harappans were called. Maybe the site was called Meluha by the Mesopotamian people. The Mesopotamian text mention contacts with regions known as Dilmun, Magan, and Meluha. And Meluha was probably the name for Harappan people. And these texts also suggest that they received products such as the carnelian, the lapis lazuli, the copper, the gold, and various varieties of goods. तो इससे ये एस्टेब्लिश तो हो रहा है कि भाई ये लोग कांटेक्ट में थे. द अदर पार्ट देन वी हैव डिफरेंट एविडेंसेस लाइक हियर वी सी अ सिलिंड्रिकल सील टिपिकल ऑफ मेसोपोटेमिया बट. और यहाँ पे देखो देर इज़ अ हम्ड कैमल राइट हियर. आई एम नॉट सॉरी, हम्ड बुल, सॉरी कैमल नहीं. तो यहाँ पे हम्ड बुल है which they could have derived from the Indus region. So there is a connection between Mesopotamia and Harappa. Then these seals. Then there was also the round Persian Gulf seal. इसके बीच में भी हम लोग को this was found at Bahrain, which carries Harappan motifs. The weights also which were followed in Dilmun region were they were all derived from the Harappan standard. They also followed the Harappan standard. And the most interesting part, how are all these places connected? Now see these places. आज भी अगर पता हो तो if India is trading with the Western Asian countries, how do we trade? How do we trade? How do we trade? Using the sea routes. How? उसके लिए if you remember the chapter on climate, which you would all have studied in the 9th standard, in that chapter you learnt about the monsoon winds, so the reversal in the direction of winds. So during the winter season the wind direction is like this, and during the summer season it's coming towards India. So during the winter season they would have been using those winds and going to these places. Same way summer आते आते वो लोग यहाँ पे वापस आ रहे हैं. So and we also have this a seal which depicts a boat. There is a depiction of boat on a seal. So we also have this evidence. So इससे प्रूव होता है कि many distant places were also in contact with the Harappan civilization. And today I want all of you to write down all these questions in your notebooks and write the answers to these questions. So what are the raw materials? Okay, you can read the questions by yourself. Thank you.